Did you hear the good news? Jamaica's tourism continues to be a major earner for the country. The latest investment in the sector comes with the recent groundbreaking for the $100 million 700-room Rio Aquarel Hotel in Trelawney. It's the Rio brand's 7th hotel on the island and will create 800 jobs during the construction phase, while 450 long-term jobs are expected to be provided. While investments continue to flow, we urge you to play your part to make Jamaica attractive to live, visit and retire in paradise. You can do so by calling police 119 and 311 numbers to report criminal activity. Jamaica's safety is our responsibility. We continue today's edition of Jamaica Magazine with a word of advice, followed by the news. Stay with us.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for April 25, 2022. Jamaica's revenues from exports increased by over 15% in 2021 compared to the 2020 outturn. Data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, reveals earnings of just over $1.4 billion for the year. Director General of Statin, Carol Coy, says the increase was largely spurred by higher exports of mineral fuels, which went up 75.5%. There was $1.28 billion in domestic export earnings, a 10% increase, driven mainly by manufacturing and agriculture industry exports.
Over the past 3 years, the manufacturer's industry share to total domestic exports moved from 30.8% in 2018 to 56.3% in 2021.
Ms. Coy gave the update during Statin's digital quarterly media briefing last Thursday. She says increased exports of yams, fruits, beverage, and coffee were the main contributors to the rise in the agricultural industry's outturn.
Exports of yam increased by 4.4%, while earnings from fruits and beverage crops and coffee rose by 34.3% and 8.9% respectively. There
was, however, a 10.6% decline in the export earnings from mining and quarrying, which brought in $465.2 million. The Statistical Institute is also reporting that Jamaica's unemployment rate fell to a new record low of 6.2% in January 2022. This is a 0.9 percentage point lower than the figure recorded in October 2021 and 2.6 percentage points below the outturn for January 2021. Statin's Director General Carol Coy says breakdown for the labor force survey for January 2022 shows male unemployment decreasing from 7.6% to 4.8%, while the female equivalent declined by 2.5 percentage points to 7.9%. Youth unemployment is now at 17.7%, reflecting a 5.1% drop. Meanwhile, the overall number of individuals employed in January 2022 rose by 4.8% or 57,800 persons compared to the corresponding period last year. The number of employed Jamaicans is now 1,257,100.
Females recorded the larger increase in the number of persons employed. The number of employed females grew by 5.5%, while for employed males the increase was 4.3%. Looking at the employed labor force by industry, the industry group real estate and other business services accounted for the largest increase in employment of 24.9%, moving to 126,600.
The number of persons classified as being outside the labor force stood at 755,600 in January. Several communities in Portmore are to receive new digital water meters as a part of the government's non-revenue water reduction program. The program looks to improve service delivery in communities and cut revenue losses for the National Water Commission, NWC. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Matthew Samuda, says 20,000 digital meters will be installed.
These meters are accurate and should be embraced by the customers as the bridge between them and the NWC. This improves service delivery will benefit residents in various sections of the municipality, including areas such as Naggohead, Portmore Lane, Reedspen, Old Brayton.
The minister made the announcement during a recent staff recognition ceremony for teams involved in the water reduction program. The program is a partnership between the NWC and Maya, a global water efficiency company. Crab vendors operating at Hero Circle in downtown Kingston now have newly constructed stalls for their businesses. The stalls were remodeled through a partnership between the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, and J. Ray & Nephew. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie says the development of Crab Circle marks a tremendous day for the Fletcher's Land community. He has urged the vendors to show their gratitude by taking care of the stalls.
This is an investment not by Ray & Nephew, but it is an investment by the vendors themselves, because at the end of the day, if it fails, it's not Ray & Nephew that will fail. It will be you, the vendors, who have not demonstrated and accepted the kindness of J. Ray & Nephew in assisting in this project.
Meanwhile, Mayor of Kingston Delroy Williams hinted that Harborview was being looked at as the next corporate area location to receive attention from this same project, while other locations will be introduced in short order. And finally, the Ministry of Education is seeking the help of CARICOM's Council for Human and Social Development, COSOD, for an extension of this year's CXC exams. Portfolio Minister Favour Williams says the ministry has requested an urgent meeting with COSOD's chairwoman, Senator Kay McConney, to discuss the matter. Minister Williams revealed this during Friday's installation ceremony of the National Youth Advisory Council of Jamaica 2021-23 cohort. She says the request is being made in the wake of a survey conducted by the ministry and the National Secondary Students' Council between February 23 and March 8. In that survey, students were asked about their preparedness for the CSEC and CAPE examinations. Of the 2,812 students surveyed, 1,754 of them expressed the need for additional time to prepare. But Minister Williams says that despite numerous appeals, the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC, did not grant an extension of the examination dates, instead suggesting that students who are not ready should defer. She says the ministry disagrees with that position and will continue to advocate for the extra time.
We believe that our students in Jamaica and across the region have been significantly impacted. They have tried, especially students who have their school-based assessment work to do. They absolutely need more time. And so we will be advocating strenuously for this.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
To properly carry out a hand rub, apply a palmful of the product in your cupped hand, covering all surfaces. Rub your hands palm to palm. Rub your right palm over the back of your left hand with interlaced fingers and vice versa. Rub your hands palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked. Rotationally rub backwards and forwards the clasped fingers of your right hand in your left palm and vice versa. Once your hands are dry, they are now safe.
The Ministry of Tourism plans to build on recovery efforts that have so far been bearing fruit. Here are those plans from Portfolio Minister Edmund Bartlett next.
I'm pleased to announce that Jamaica has been named one of the world's fastest recovering countries and the Caribbean's fastest growing tourism destination.
As it seeks to maintain this winning momentum, the Ministry of Tourism will be working to increase traffic in our airspace, target new markets, build out our hotel room count, and develop the industry's human capital.
The industry will thrive, and we will thrive beyond the pre-COVID level. We continue to build the capacity of Jamaica to be connected to the rest of the world. It's about how do we ensure that Jamaica can be reached from any part of the world.
Arrangements are being made and alliances are being forged to increase visitors' arrivals through diverse air travel arrangements. These include 2 direct flights each week between the Brussels International Airport and Montego Bay, and 1 direct flight per week between Amsterdam Schiphol International Airport and the second city. At the same time, you will see air travel from Stockholm to Jamaica with a fortnightly flying program beginning this November. Frontier Airlines will also begin a new service in May with 12 flights per week from various USA gateways to Jamaica.
With the relaxation of our COVID-19 protocols, covered with the aforementioned strategy and policy, it is now time, Madam Speaker, for us to let go the bird. We are looking to new markets and we are also looking to new destinations.
The ministry is also looking to develop new markets in Asia, Africa, and South America.
Madam Speaker, this will be the largest wave of tourism development and expansion in the history of Jamaica.
$2 billion will be invested to bring 8,500 rooms on stream over the next 5 years, which will inevitably create a surge in the local job market. This includes expansion or development works being undertaken at the Viva Windham Resort north of Negril, the new Rio Hotel in Trelawney, and the Bahia Principe, as well as a new Secrets Resort in Richmond, St. Anne.
We are committed to producing a competitive and productive workforce that can take advantage of possibilities in the tourism and hospitality business.
The Jamaica Center of Tourism Innovation, JCTI, which offers middle management certification programs for industry workers, will be shifting its certification programs online. The American Hotel and Lodging Educational Institute will be modernizing its website to allow for more online presentations. In addition, the JCTI will be creating a game-changing database of certified persons, which will allow employers to easily recruit qualified tourism workers. The ministry will also be undertaking a labor market study for the tourism industry. This destination management plan will see Negril being transformed with a town centre and beach park, offering a craft market, farmers market and a fishing village among other amenities to expand opportunities for locals and provide visitors with an authentic and world-class experience.
The new destination, St. Thomas, Madam Speaker, is now ready. And we are going to be spending somewhere in the region of about $305 million overall in developing the infrastructure for the new destination in St. Thomas.
Making St. Thomas the next prime tourism destination will involve developing Rocky Point Beach, establishing wayfinding stations in Yallas, rehabilitating the road to Bath Fountain Hotel, and developing heritage sites such as Fort Rocky and the Morant Bay Monument.
And we are going to have lifestyle tourism in that area, and we are going to call it the Jamaica Riviera.
The Ministry of Tourism has always sought to ensure that the gains from this dynamic and growing sector is seen and felt by all Jamaicans, and the 2022-23 financial year is no different.
We will therefore continue to push forward with a spirit of hope for a brighter future, with a prosperous and prosperity, Madam Speaker, for every Jamaican. Together, we have the opportunity to build forward stronger. The seeds have been sown for prosperity. Tourism for a shared Jamaican prosperity.
What a way you're full of our roots and culture. That was in Jamaica 60. Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up.
Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence.
I only way of celebrating it. They say the people them come here, you know. But you see, when our people decide, say the other people them free paper, no, them say if it's war, start it, whatever. We all collect medal pants of it, you know.
Medal.
Amount of thump, we give them a thump.
The celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report.
I am on site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what it pre. Activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration.
I download the app to get the updates then.
Today we join the rest of the world in observation of Malaria Day. Jamaica has been fortunate to eradicate malaria from its shores, but we're still in a long-term fight against the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which is responsible for diseases such as yellow fever, chickpea, Zika, and the prevalent dengue fever. Watch as we share some useful tips on that last one.
Dengue fever is a vector-borne disease carried by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. It is caused by the flavivirus and occurs in either a mild or severe form in tropical and subtropical areas of the world. Globally, 50 to 100 million cases of dengue are seen yearly.
Dengue is endemic to Jamaica, meaning that since its introduction in 1977, we have cases that occur every year. The cases of dengue fever, including severe dengue, can occur at any time throughout the year. An outbreak is declared when the number of cases increase above the usual that is expected for that time of the year.
Dengue is transmitted to humans by the bite of the infected female mosquito. Symptoms typically begin 3 to 14 days after someone gets infected with the virus. Symptoms can last from 2 to 7 days.
The incubation period is usually 4 to 10 days, and illness begins abruptly, and there are essentially 3 phases of the illness. First phase is where you have the fever. The second phase that you can go into is a critical phase, and then you have a recovery phase.
Over 70% of persons who contract the disease usually experience mild symptoms. Persons affected by the mild form of the disease may experience fever of 40 degrees Celsius or higher, headache, muscle pain, and bone and joint pain. Some people may also experience nausea, pain behind the eyes, swollen glands, vomiting, sore throat, rash, and diarrhea.
So you can see that it's a range of symptoms that can present, and therefore, when you initially present with dengue, it may be seen as different illnesses. It may be seen as gastroenteritis, it may be seen as an upper respiratory tract infection, or it can be seen as dengue fever.
To be on the safe side and put speculations aside, persons who start experiencing symptoms are advised to visit their health facility or doctor for medical advice and treatment. If indeed you have dengue, do not self-medicate with treatments that can worsen your illness or cause bleeding. So be sure to have a discussion about dengue with your doctor. The Health Ministry says doctors who recognize the presence of a fever should also have a high suspicion for dengue and treat with the necessary precautions. For mild cases of dengue, persons may treat themselves at home with specific types of over-the-counter medications, but heed the warning.
Fever and pain to the joints, pain to the muscles, must be treated with only medications that have cetamol, paracetamol, and Panadol. You can also use tepid sponging, fan therapy, and increased fluid to assist with decreasing the fever. Do not use medications that contain aspirin and other non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs such as ibuprofen and diclofenac. You must read your labels carefully. If you are unsure, consult your pharmacist or your doctor before using the medication.
The drugs you should not take while experiencing dengue have been known to cause and/or worsen bleeding and increase the severity of the disease. Besides the mild form of dengue, persons can also experience a more severe form called dengue hemorrhagic fever, which is a rare complication of the illness that can lead to death. Usually the fever that comes with dengue lasts for about 5 days, and it is usually when the fever is going away that persons tend to worsen. Warning signs include persons not eating, experiencing persistent vomiting, lethargy, restlessness, shortness of breath, pain in the abdomen, or tenderness in the abdomen. Persons should also look out for signs of bleeding.
Those signs of bleeding can include bleeding from the gums, bleeding in the urine, it can be bleeding in the stool. Usually though, when you start getting bleeding in the stool, in the urine and stuff, you have reached a severe point.
It is important to note that a case of severe dengue can occur without symptoms of bleeding. Also, in a case of severe dengue, there may be difficulty in maintaining hemodynamics, in which a person's blood pressure tends to drop suddenly and circulation to vital organs is affected.
With dengue, fluid tends to seep from the blood vessels to the outside of the vessels, meaning that there is decreased blood flow to vital organs. And that is why you get the symptoms of lethargy and restlessness and pain in the abdomen. What those signs are signs of decreased perfusion to the brain. It means that enough fluid is not going to the brain because persons are dehydrated. Okay? The dehydration and the signs of dehydration are very important to treat.
Persons are warned to not wait for these signs and instead go to the doctor or hospital early. People with chronic illnesses such as sickle cell are at a greater risk of experiencing severe dengue. These individuals must use precaution when taking their medications.
If you have a chronic illness that you may be taking medications for and you think that there may be some interference with dengue, you must speak to your doctor to decide whether or not you should continue to take these medications.
In order to effectively combat and limit the spread of dengue and other mosquito-transmitted illnesses, persons must eliminate mosquito breeding sites in their surroundings. Breeding sites include old tires, laundry tanks, dish drainers, covered tanks or cisterns, drums and barrels, discarded buckets and containers. Other sources are pet dishes, construction blocks, bottles, discarded tin cans, tree holes and bamboo, bottle pieces on top of walls, old shoes and flower pots. Mosquitoes can also breed in discarded toys, roof guttering, bromeliad plants, garden containers and tools, brick holes and unmaintained wading or swimming pools. Where water is stored for use, the containers must be properly covered and sealed against mosquito entry. The use of mosquito repellents containing DEET and long-sleeved clothing are also recommended for personal protection. For more information, please contact the Ministry of Health, 10 to 16 Grenada Way, Kingston 5. Call them at 876-633-8172, 876-633-7771. Information is on the web at moh.gov.jm and contact can be made by email pr@moh.gov.jm or on social media.
As we gear up to celebrate Child Month in May, we share some well-needed information to keep our future leaders safe, courtesy of the Ministry of Justice's Victim Services Division.
Children sometimes see too much. At other times, they hear too much. And many of them feel too much. There are situations where children become victims of crimes, seeing, hearing, and feeling too much of its effect. The hurt and trauma can linger without the proper intervention strategies. This is where government's Victim Services Division comes in. The VSD is having a far-reaching and sweeping impact as it provides help to this vulnerable group.
The Victim Services Division is that division within the Ministry of Justice, which is responsible for coordinating the ministry's support base for victims of crime. Anyone can become a victim of a crime. Victims of crime are often persons who suffer just about any crime you imagine. There are sexual crimes, small children, there is robbery, there is murder, wherein the primary victim though has deceased, The secondary victim, which is the family members, are there for the support that we give. We recognize that our victim population was getting younger. Whilst we still would have to communicate with them some of the complex concepts that are a part of the therapeutic process. Hence, we needed to find a medium that will allow for us to use their type of language, colors and sounds and movement.
Well, that medium the ministry found was the use of an animation bundle. It is comprised of 8 short films that offer therapeutic intervention and lessons to children who are victims of crime.
Your daughter was almost abducted today, but she was smart. She ran away. However, there is more she could have done. Walking with headphones on is a dangerous habit. You must be alert. Pay attention to your surroundings and the dangers around you.
Our animation strategy involves the creation of a character called Justy. And Justy represents all that is good and right about what should be done when a child is faced with a difficulty. A child seeing the animation immediately will be able to interact. They are short animation films, so the attention span of the child is not hampered in any way. And our intent is not just for them to watch Justy, but to become and to embody the teachings, the values of Justy in order to help other children.
I have not left the house in over 3 weeks. I came here to work as a helper, and now he tells me that I'm going to work at a nightclub.
Put these on and get ready. We're leaving for the nightclub in half an hour.
Anyone can be trafficked. It does not matter your age, gender, or race.
We also ensure that we would have elected to choose specific topics which were current and will remain current. Abduction is a reality. The matter of being bullied is a reality. Human trafficked is another reality, and among others. There are 8 animation films. And these are current, we have seen over time. We have had the opportunity to have children literally vet the animations, and we are very comfortable that they have the content that will reflect concerns that children would want to share with their friends.
But why was the Victim Services Division so sure that these animated videos would have or will even continue to pull the required effect?
The process of developing an intervention involves doing an assessment. We would have had the benefit of, over the last 20 years, 200,000 victims that we would have been able to assess. We would have had clear understanding of what needs to be done to provide support for the victims of crime, hence the program VSD. What we did was to use that 20 years of experience. We have a cadre of trained social workers, psychologists, various levels of competencies to work with children. And we have just managed to package this entire expertise into 8 animations. I am absolutely confident that they have what it takes to make a difference.
So even in all the challenges, the Victim Services Division is working to provide psychosocial support for victims of crime. The division is committing its unit to the advancement of victim rights, including those of our children. And your role can be as simple as speaking up.
Well, that's all the time we have left here on this station. Missed aspects of today's or other shows? Visit our YouTube channel to catch up. We're also available at your leisure on our website, social media pages, and our mobile app that's smartphone compatible. On behalf of the entire team here at the GIS, I am Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.